The Maono HD300T is a dynamic USB and XLR combo microphone that is set to cost around $80 bundled with a tabletop stand, shock mount, and pop filter. And today, we're going to find out if it is any good. Hey, I'm Chris Wilmshurst, and today I'm talking to you about this, the HD300T, a new dynamic microphone I was sent several weeks ago by Maono to review. But don't worry, if you are a regular here, you'll know the drill by now, but all opinions are my own, and you get to see this before they do. It's unique in that it's both a USB and XLR microphone, meaning whether you're using a computer, tablet, or an audio interface, this will work with what you've got. When I opened the box, I was actually blown away by what's included. Usually accessories they provide in this kit are expensive extras you'd have to buy on top. As you can see, it's more of a handheld microphone design, with this on-off switch, a USB-C port, the XLR connector, a headphone jack, and volume controls. The tabletop stand is a good quality, the pop filter is small and easy to remove, and the shock mount holds this microphone securely, while also doubling up as a mounting point for the stand or a boom arm. They also give you everything to get plugged in, an XLR cable and a USB-C cable. Unfortunately, it's a USB-C to USB-A cable, which does suck, so if you're using an iPad or a MacBook Pro, you'll need an adapter or a new cable. When everything is thrown together, you get this all-in-one tabletop solution. I really like that they've included everything, as these would usually be extras. Now, if you somehow haven't noticed, I've actually been talking into this microphone the whole time. To me, the quality is on par with some more expensive microphones I've used, like the Audio-Technica AT2020, and the fact that it's a dynamic microphone means that you have to talk directly into this bit, which makes it great for podcasts, stage work, or even streaming. So while it's here, let's do a few tests and see how well this gear works out, shall we? So we're now here at my desk, and the first thing I'm going to test is the shock mount. And I'm going to wobble it about. Hopefully this doesn't make too much noise. If I hold... Seems to be a little bit of, noise being made up, but it seems to generally be doing what it's supposed to do. How about some table tapping? Obviously, I'm tapping the table. It doesn't seem to be converting too much into the stand. You'll be able to hear the sound. But what about the pop filter? These are designed to reduce plosives. What's a plosive? It's a large pop when you say a word like propeller, people, brush. Basically any word where you stop the airflow using your lips or teeth. Thanks, Google, for that one. I didn't have a clue either. Now, let's try it without. And this is going to be very fun. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked... Sorry. Let's try again. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Second go. Okay, let's try with the filters and hopefully not mess it up too much. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where the peck of pickled Peter Piper... Let's try again. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? That was complicated, and I don't want to ever do that again. The funny thing is, I forgot to hit record before, so I did that about 30 times before that take, but I didn't tell you that. Now, let's do a keyboard test. Open up notes as usual, and let's see. I'm getting no spikes on my audio, which seems quite odd. So there's a slight boost in the audio. But for me, it does get a pass. It's not great, but it gets a pass. Now, obviously, this whole thing works off USB and XLR. And the whole time I've been filming this video, I've been using XLR hooked up to a Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen. And my gain currently is at about 230 on the dial. And I have phantom power enabled. How does it sound? Well, I'm going to switch it out now and go to USB, and hopefully with the short time I use it in USB, I'll be able to show you the difference that it does make. Okay, now we're using USB, and from my initial tests where I used it in my last video to test out these wave panels on the wall, I found that my voice was a bit tinny, but when I tested it with XLR, it was more warm, it felt more natural. I'm not sure if that's down to the XLR cable itself or my Focusrite. It could be a combination of both, but XLR generally is the better sounding microphone from what I've discovered over using several microphones over the years. But if you're wearing decent enough headphones, you'll be able to tell me and let me know. And finally, we're going to do a test of the pickup pattern. That means as the microphone moves around, or I move around it, it should cancel out some of my voice. So let's test it. This is a test of the pickup pattern. The microphone is slowly turning around and hopefully it changes the sound of the voice. And hopefully this is as scientific as I can get. I'm trying not to bend my XLR cable or pop it out by accident, but that shouldn't happen because it is locked in place. Hopefully you notice the difference. And right now it should be quite quiet. And it does seem to be saying that on the levels, but if I bring it round, I should be quite loud again. Yeah, seems all right. Seems to do the job. Good pickup pattern. Nice one, Malmo. Malmo. Sorry, Mauno. Now I think this microphone is fairly decent for the price. It's not going to blow anything away that costs 3 or 4 times its price, but for something in this price range, it's very easy to recommend, especially with all these accessories. And if you don't want all the accessories, I've been told that the microphone itself will cost around $60. That's not a bad price. Now I don't want to sing its praises without pointing out some of the issues. There's a few things which I found were very odd. The volume buttons only work in USB and control the volume of your actual computer, not the gain of the microphone. The headphone jack also only works in USB mode, so if you plan to use it with something like an iPad, it will disable your speakers, so you'll have to get used to real-time monitoring when you're trying to listen to any content. The USB-C cable should be USB-C on both ends, and the shock mount could be a bit larger, as adjusting the volume buttons and the on-off switch is hard to with these small gaps. With all that said and done, how do you think the HD300T sounds? Is this something you could see yourself using? Because I'd like to thank Mauno for sending this out to me, but I'd also like to use this opportunity to pass it on to one of my subscribers. So, if you want a chance of winning this and the whole package, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter, retweet the link in the description below, and I'll pick a winner in 30 days. So you've got plenty of time to get your entry in. Thanks again for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.